Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, great communicators. My name is Dr. Nancy Anaba. I am a lecturer from the Department of Mass Communication, Clifford University, and I bring you greetings from Clifford University. It is an honor to stand before you to speak on the topic that reflects the heartbeat of our profession, which is storytelling, connecting hearts, healing crises. Storytelling, connecting hearts, healing crises. You know, when I got this topic, I smiled because this topic reminded me of two mass media programs that were aired in the 90s. If you grew up in Aba, you'll be able to know these programs I'm talking about. The first one is Ntinararie. The ear should take and eat. It's just like feeding the ear. It was a radio station program, and it was aired in Igbo language. The second one is Tales by Moonlight. It was aired on NTA Channel 6 Aba. These programs were interesting, interactive, educative. They also taught morals. You know, when this program started, people loved it. At the end of this program, when this program started, parents and children that made up the audience of this program had the time, days, station name, and even the names of the hosts of these programs recorded in their memories. This program was designed in such a way that the host of the program gathered children, told them stories about what happened in the neighborhood, other cities, issues that affected the society, and even animal kingdom stories that made children to be intelligent and wise. At the end of the stories, the children were asked questions on the moral lessons they got from the stories. These programs were among the best mass media programs aired at that time. Whenever it's almost time for the program, parents and children that made up the audience for the program leave whatever they are doing, because the programs were always done in the evening when children were already back from schools, and some parents are also back from home, from their workplaces. They will leave whatever they are doing, look for an available radio set, and then tune into the station and begin to listen to the program to the end. As a mass communicator now, I've come to realize that this program was able to make waves in the mass media because they told stories that connected the heart of the audience. Have you wondered why a child who may not be interested in academic studies or academic books may sit for hours and read novels or other storybooks without getting bored? Have you also wondered why students in a particular class where a teacher is teaching may feel bored or sleepy when the class is going on, but immediately the teacher steps out, these same students will gather together and begin to tell stories of things that happen in their hostel or even at home? This is the power of storytelling. In mass communication, we have come to realize that our audience are impatient. They do not have the patience to read our normal straight news stories to the end. They will just read the title, manage to read our lead, and then flip through pictures, leave the remaining stories or content for us. And this is why we have come to incorporate storytelling in our writing to be able to engage our audience and hold them to the end of our stories. At the heart of every great communicator is the ability to tell a story. Facts may inform, but stories transform. Whether marketing, advertising, or journalism, storytelling remains a technique that can turn information into emotions and emotions into actions. digital era, this means harnessing different multimedia tools to create narratives that resonate with human experience. Now, I would like to take you to my first story for this lecture. Permit me to read. I'm going to read it. "13 years, not 13 days. 13 years, not 13 days. She struggled in pain, yet she never gave up serving as a deaconess and children ministry leader in her church. She never missed cleaning the church with other deaconesses. She never missed being in the church early every Sabbath morning to take care of the children. Pastors and elders of the church prayed with her. Fellow deaconesses prayed as well. Yet the pressure from her husband's family grew stronger and stronger. The situation that seemed unending ended in praise to God Almighty as the entire church, friends, and well-wishers gathered together to celebrate with deacon and deaconess Onyewuchi as they dedicated their twin boys. Now, in this story, our normal news story may come this way. Deacon and deaconess Onyewuchi dedicated their twin boys after 13 years of waiting, right? But then, you have already given the audience all the information they need to know in that story. And then you also give them the opportunity to leave your story, the content of your story, and flip to other things. But when you come with the title, 13 years, not 13 days, the reader will want to ask, what is this person trying to say? Let me even see what this story is all about. And then, when the reader gets into the story, you capture the emotion of that reader and make the reader to read to the end. This is the power of storytelling. You don't give the audience all the things at the first paragraph of your story. This mic is not working. At the first paragraph of your story, you put them in suspense and make them want to read your story to the end. The next story I'm going to project here unforeseen success. Unforeseen success. This one is a little bit longer, but I'm going to read it so you'll be able to go along with me. Unforeseen success. Hard work, efforts, and persistence put together did they waste? The entire church marched the streets and neighboring streets of Ochongaloko doing the work which they are called to do. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost. These words by Jesus were not taken for granted by the entire members of the Seventh-day Adventist Branch Sabbath School Church located at Ochongaloko, as the church leaders and the entire church members decided to embark on aggressive 2x2 door-to-door evangelism around all the streets and areas where the church is located. The church explored different evangelism techniques to reach out to the community members, which include providing health care services, feeding the hungry in the streets, and padding the girl child. Having in mind that they needed to expand their church building as well, recruit more members to worship with them, the church leaders and members at large concluded the evangelism with an open-air message to achieve their aims of the evangelism. There seemed to be no success during all the hard work and efforts. No single soul was brought to Christ few hours to the end of the evangelism. Everyone thought this was yet another waste of time, effort, and resources. The church leaders were already planning on how to embark on another evangelism to cover up for the assumed unsuccessful one, which was to end not less than 24 hours. Surprisingly, on the closing night of the open air evangelism, the preacher made an altar call, and to the glory of God, 30 souls were baptized through the evangelism. And the church got donations to conclude the church building, and as well, church worship equipment were donated to enable them to have a memorable worship experience each Sabbath. Now, with the title again, Unforeseen Success. But if you come immediately and begin to give a title that tells the story itself, people they'll dump the story for you, and then lead to other stories that interest them. Our aim here is to engage our audience with our stories, to be able to make them read our story to the end, because we are impatient. So this is the only way we can capture them. Everybody loves stories. Everybody wants to hear stories. People that do not have time to even do other things, sit down and read stories. So why not use that opportunity and capture their attention and make them read your story to the end? We are going to explore the 3 techniques of storytelling. The first one, I mentioned it, the hero's journey. This is about someone who started from bottom, went through 1,000,001 success, and then was able to achieve, went to 1,000,001 struggles, and then was able to achieve success. People want transformation. How did you get to this point? I don't think there's anyone that doesn't have challenge or challenges. And people want to know how you were able to meet up with those challenges and the processes you went through. And that is the journey they want to hear in your story. The journey will be able to help the audience to be able to know how to handle their own when they are in the same situation or something that looks like that. Now, talking about the unseen success, churches that had the same issue of membership growth and development of church building may begin to wonder, okay, unforeseen success. Okay, let us see, they actually succeeded in the evangelism, and they want to know your journey to achieve the success. And that is what you give your audience at that time. You have to ensure that you take your audience through the journey of your report. They want to know how you achieve success, even though there were struggles. Okay. Just be patient, the slide is slow. This is too slow. It's not going forward.
Just maintain this. We need to click twice.
Okay. I have to click this part.
Yes, the down.
The up and down.
The down. Bring back, you go the forward is down.
In the story of the unforeseen success, is the church leaders and and members, while the journey is trying to get membership, church membership, build church membership, and also get church building. The next technique of storytelling is in the middle of the chaos or conflict. The middle of the chaos of conflict. This explains the challenges the hero passed through to be able to achieve success. This is what people want to hear. The challenges he went through to be able to achieve the success that they see. And this, you don't need to tell them in the first paragraph the challenges you went through. If you tell them the first paragraph, you tell them what the challenges you went through in the first paragraph, you've lost them. They will leave you and move to another story. Remember, our aim is to engage our audience to read our story to the end. Whether it is a video or written words, it is just to engage them and make them read our story to the end. Let them be anxious to know what happened and how you eventually achieve success. Remember to start with the peak of the tension. You are going to put them in tension. You want them to be like, oh, what really happened at the end? And that is why we do not tell you members, how many members they were baptized. But some of us are quick to write the number of members that were baptized. We're thinking that when we write it, people will celebrate us. No. The issue here, the aim here is to hold the audience. Let them read that story. So you don't expose the most important part of the story to them at the beginning of the story. For that reason, as a communicator, whether you are using videos or you are writing, ensure that you are not boring your audience with too many words. Remember again, your audience are impatient. So in as much as you want to engage them, do not bore them with too many words. Now, the next technique is safe landing. This is the part you eventually give the audience at the end of the story. This is the conclusion of the story. This is where the hidden information you intentionally withheld from the audience gets revealed to be able to calm their attention and curiosity. That is why in the story of the unseen success, I was able to tell you that 30 souls were baptized. If I had told you that 30 souls were baptized at the beginning, you have concluded the story. And then you lose the interest. But I had to hold you and put you in tension and suspense. What really happened? How did they achieve it? While you are reading, you are asking yourself questions. Because the aim is to you put questions in the mind of your audience. That is what tension is all about. You don't allow them to conclude the whole story by themselves while they are still in your story. Do not also forget the power of text, videos, podcasts, and visuals. How to connect hearts to storytelling. Now, how do you connect hearts through storytelling? The secret of great storytelling that connects hearts raises questions in the mind of the audience. Like I said earlier, when your audience are reading your story, let them be asking themselves questions. Like, so what really happened? Okay, they went street to street, they went door to doors, yet nobody was baptized. Even after they gave pads to girls, even after they gave food to people in the street, yet nobody was baptized. Let them be asking themselves questions as they are reading your story. So, and you are using it to hold them, to engage them, to be able to read the story to the end. You have to connect their hearts by making them raise questions. There's what we call anticipation hook. The anticipation hook is what hooks them to your story. You make them anticipate what's next. And with that, you're able to hook them to the end of your story. The second one you also do is to share what the main character in your story wants to accomplish. Like I said earlier, the journey, you have to share the hero's journey. The character of your story, share what they pass through. That also helps to engage your audience in your stories. The third one is to foreshadow the future. You achieve this by sharing some of the thoughts of the character, some of the thoughts the character was thinking. What is the character thinking about? How the situation is going to turn out? As you're reading your story, what are they thinking about? What is the character thinking about as you're reading your story? It is important to note that when you tell engaging stories in your reports, you connect hearts. As a communicator, you can simply achieve this by making use of empathy, relatable themes, and vivid imagery to create emotional bonds with your audience. You arouse their emotion and make them to sympathize with whoever or whatever. If it is an epic story, arouse their emotion and make them to feel relaxed and funny about the story. Now, finally, crisis. This is a part that may be difficult for us as communication secretary members of a church. Healing crisis. Because most times, these crises overwhelm us. They overshadow us to the point that we can't handle it. You know, communication secretaries don't handle crises. Well, rather, we communicate crises. But sometimes, the church leadership do not give us the opportunity to communicate crises. The church pastor may want to step in, depending on the crisis that overwhelmed the church at that time. The church first elder may want to even step in too, to be able to handle to communicate the crisis, because they feel maybe they will be able to communicate the crisis effectively. Now, I want to tell you a story from this story I'll ask question. We'll be able to ask and interact. We'll be able to interact in this particular question that is the last question, with the last topic for the lecture. Let me tell you a story. A church had a couple that waited for so many years. The couple now came to the church pastor or the church board to tell them about how they now have a child to the glory of God. And they are going to dedicate the child to so day. Everybody was happy. It was announced in the church over again. And people were prepared for that particular day. On maybe a few hours to that day of dedication, the couple have already arrived with their baby, and their visitors that came with them. The church pastor got a message or a call that this baby was gotten illegitimately. Remember, this baby is dedicated in the church. And then they got a report, an alerting report, that this baby was gotten illegitimate. The church pastor became afraid. How is he going to handle this? He immediately called for emergency church board, asked the church board what should be done. As he's trying to make inquiries on whether this baby was actually legitimate or not, someone needs to communicate with the church, because at that time, the dedication cannot go on again. We have to pause it. Remember, the visitors are already set. The couple with the baby are already out for dedication. Someone needs to communicate this information to the church congregation and to calm the whole situation. How do you think this can be handled? Who do you think can communicate it effectively in the church? How can you communicate it well? I'm asking a question. And try to help us interact. Okay, can we get someone, give them the mic? Sorry for using left.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
In a case like this, when the couple and everyone and the expectation is high, it behoves the pastor. It's not something you make public in the church at that time. One, the child to be dedicated has not committed any of crime, of offense whatsoever. So in a case like this, it is the duty of the pastor to maneuver everything, dedicate the child. After dedication, you now come in and do your internal work as a pastor. Now it is during the calling the couple to order that stories will come, reactions will come. Now the work of the communicator comes in. The pastor now let the communicator know exactly the full story, and now the communicator goes to the church. Because questions will be here and there. What happened? This family that have waited so long, what have they done? Because they got a baby, you want to discipline them and so forth. Now, the communicator will now tell the story and let everyone know why the couple will be disciplined. And in line with the church policy. So, whatsoever, when the dedication ceremony has been set to take off, you don't disappoint or embarrass anybody. But pastor will summon courage, call those that is working with the first elder of the church and tell him, don't worry, now we will handle the issue. Let this child who is innocent be dedicated first. Thank you. That is the way to go.
Okay. Does anyone have anything other to say? Please, can you?
I think he said what I wanted to say, but let me just throw more light to it. Because even in the Bible, in the book of Psalm, I think he said that even in sins did our parents conceive us. So, at the pastor and the church board, I think they would have at least dedicated the baby first. Because the child is innocent, just like he said. Because what he said was exactly what I wanted to say, actually.
Okay. Does anyone have any other thing to say that is not exactly what they said? Okay.
Yes, the issue has to do with the image of the church. Okay. Because any program that happens in the church had already been publicized. So in such situations, the image of the church matters most. So the pastor and the first elder, in conjunction with the communication department, will see to that in making sure that the church will dedicate the baby not in flamboyancy, but in managing the image of the church. Thank you.
Okay.
I think we beg the question, the first person that answered, we are resetting the question. From what I got from your question, there's a situation, there's a tension in the church.
Exactly.
Who should manage it?
Exactly.
Should the pastor step in? Should the power director step in?
Just
should
hold on.
Yes.
Remember, I said that communication secretaries do not handle crisis. We communicate crisis. So go ahead.
So that is the basis from which this question emanated. So I want us to take it from that end. At this point of confusion, who should step in? Since communicators are not given opportunity to communicate crisis, should pastor also communicate crisis and also handle crisis? That's a question you were bringing in.
No, you didn't get me. I said communication secretaries communicate crisis, but do not handle crisis.
Don't handle, but
yes.
pastors handle.
Yeah, exactly.
But in so many instances, from what you are almost setting here, pastor also communicates and also handles. So we are trying to see how we can separate the two. That is the point you want to make. Now, I have another problem that I want to add to that. By the church policy, the image maker of the church is not even the communicator. You talk about the power director, of course. The power director is the image maker of the church. But though we are not here to look at the conflict, but it's the truth. Who is actually allowed to do this? Assuming it is also the communicator. The communicator should be allowed to communicate the crisis. Whether the child is illegally obtained or not, is not our business. But we're informing the church, look at the problem that is at hand. The communicator should do that. Then how to resolve it? That is the duty of the pastor. Though pastor can also be a communicator.
Okay, go ahead. Please, can you give it to him? Give the microphone to him.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's a interesting topic. The problem we have is that even the communicators are also part of those that hear under hearsay.
Exactly.
In a situation whereby the pastors and the elders are the communication directors and everything, a rumor will be going around the church, and the communication director is not aware. Pastor does not do it with due respect. Fit to call communication director of a church, say this is what is going on, in case. So how do you communicate? How do you defend what you don't know? That is simple truth. The church, let us learn how to play our roles according to our offices. If there is any issue in the church authority led by the church pastor and the first elder should consult the communication director and say, this is, excuse me, I'm coming. They inform, yes, thank you for the correction, and say, this is an issue on ground. In case this rumor is spreading, but when the pastor and the first elder is trying to manage the information within their own cycle, and the communication department is not aware, what happens? Everybody will believe what they hear within the environment. So I'm of the opinion that at least the first-hand information, just let me come to the circular they saying. If there is a problem in the state government, the first person the governor will communicate is the commissioner for information. And commissioner for information will manage that information judiciously to the public consumption. But when governor fails to align with the commissioner for information, that governor, the government will be jeopardized. That is simple truth. So I'm of the opinion that our church leadership should work in synergy with the communication department as regards to information management. It's very, very important. Thank you.
Okay, so after you can give the lady, because she, give this lady, please. Let us have a lady.
Okay,
speak.
ma'am. My reaction to this scenario. See, there is what we want us to look at. If there is a direct information that came prior to the dedication day to the pastor stating officially, this is what happened, then it is a case that should be looked into even before the date.
No, I said few hours to the dedication.
Fine, it is rumor.
Rumor?
Yes, since it's coming on that day. So I will suggest that the pastor dedicates the baby, the communication director or the communication secretary comes to the stage and make a statement like, we've heard and we promise you that we are going to make sure that we treat the matter because we are just hearing it. But for the baby has to be dedicated. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Who else wants to speak? Please, are you taking the mic too?
Good morning, everyone. Audience, please. Audience, please. Audience, please. The issue just thrown like a stone in the ocean, having effects. Don't say so. So, guest speaker, let me put myself in the position of a pastor that got that information few minutes or seconds to the very hour of the dedication of the baby.
Okay.
I want to confirm who that individual is. I must establish the source of that information. Who are you and what are you? What is your background? What is your source of information? Where are you coming from? Come. It could be even 1 minute to let's meet and talk. But where the person fails to produce himself, I will go ahead as a pastor and dedicate the baby. Bearing in mind that it could be litigation, I don't care about it. Litigation could follow thereafter. But let it be needful. Because even, I'm sorry, the learned counsel is here. He will understand. We set the situation before we go listening to him. But assuming it happened a day earlier, like the last speaker said, we should be able to see that person wherever he is and interact with him. If we establish the truth, we look at it on the face value of the report he has given, whether it is criminal element or not. So, as long as that person is not serious with his information, we will treat it as rumor and go ahead. But if he's serious with information, we will make the party, the so-coupled, what is in the offing. And we sound them out. If they want to cancel it, fine. If they do not want to cancel, we go ahead and dedicate the baby. That's my opinion. But the key thing there is the source of information and the person behind the information. Because it could be intended to cause damage and failure. And at the end, the person will be laughing. I told you I'm going to deal with you. Haven't I dealt with you? So we must be very careful. Thank you.
Give to the final speaker now. One person, one more person, and then.
Good morning, everyone. Please, this is not a new matter in our church. So shouldn't raise noise. Let's respect ourselves. If I am the pastor of a church, such information comes few minutes before the time of dedication. As at that time, there won't be time for investigation. I will only calm that individual to hold his peace while we dedicate the innocent child. I may not even tell the first elder what is happening because every individual has a way of conceiving things. So I will calm the person that brought the information, convince him to permit for the child's dedication. After which, I will not let leadership know about the word information. We can now go by church policy. Thank you very much.
Okay, now, in every organization, government, or even individuals, crisis, we always face crises. You should not be afraid. What you should be thinking about is how to handle the crisis and who to communicate the crisis. In most cases in our church, we have issues of who to communicate the crisis. Most times, our pastors may want to take up the situation and want to communicate it well, because maybe they are afraid that the communication secretaries or director may not communicate it well or may add more crises to the crisis already existing. Remember again that how you communicate crisis matters a lot. There's way you communicate it to even bring more crisis. There's way you communicate it to calm the situation. Now, as a communicator, what you need to do is to learn how to calm the situation. If you can calm yourself down in the midst of intention, if you calm yourself and be able to handle this situation, then you'll be able to communicate situations easily without making up more crises. Sometimes communication secretaries, when we post something, and then you know that the audience have different opinions, different ways of reacting to issues. You see that some audience may want to react in a very funny way that you, the communicator, may not like. Do not be in a hurry to hit back the response. Try to calm the situation. Try to respond with calmness. Do not hit back with the kind of force or emotions that the person replied or responded to your messages. You try to communicate with calmness, and that makes us professionals. As a communication secretary, your job is limited when it comes to communicating crises. There are some crises that you may not even communicate by yourself. Some crises have to do with marriage issues. You see, there's way you communicate this crisis, and then it will even lead to more crises, and then it will even affect you. They will bring it upon you. So, as a communication secretary or director, we have this conflict of who to communicate the crisis. Sometimes our pastors want to take up. Sometimes we find ourselves reading only bulletins in the church. That is not what our work is for. We need to reach and understand with our pastors, with the church board. you have to understand, as a communication secretary, you don't have to feel that you can say anything on your own. Work with the church board. Work with the pastor. Do not throw up any kind of information without confirming from them. Because that is where the conflict is coming from. The pastor may get angry and be like, why would you send this without confirming from us? And as a communication secretary, you always attend church board meetings. You don't have to be away from them and then communicate blindly. Now, in communicating crisis, you don't, sometimes we say that silence is golden. In communication, or in terms of crisis, silence is not golden. You must communicate, but you have to learn how to communicate it. You must communicate the issue, because if you keep quiet, will keep lying up and that people will be carrying real issues that are not right, and the crisis may even rise more. So you don't have to keep calm and say silence is golden. No, you have to come and say something, but then let it be in a professional way and with calmness. Ladies and gentlemen, communication remains one of the most powerful tools humanity has. Let us communicate to use our craft, not to inform, but to inspire, not to manage crises, but to build hope, not only to tell stories, but to write history. Thank you very much. Any question? Any comments? Is my time up? How many minutes remaining? Okay, 30 minutes remaining. 30 minutes, I said 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Okay, let's use the 30 minutes to interact more. 5 persons, all right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. The issue about communication director and the pastor doing your job, the first elder doing your job, shouldn't be a source of an issue, because you are doing the job for the pastor. The pastor of the church is the number one communicator. So you do what he asks you to do. If he says, this one, don't worry, I will handle, allow him handle. If the first that also says, no, communication, don't worry, let's handle this, allow them handle. The major aim of the communication department is to help propagate the church, information of the church, drive it. If there's anyone that have asked you, don't worry, we can take care of it, what's your problem? It's not your job you're doing. It's not. If, for instance, now those of us that are directors, and you want to pass an information to the church, and the pastor or the president has not vetted, and you send the information, is it your information? Are you passing information for yourself? As you pass that information, it's assumed that the president has vetoed, and you pass it. So whatever happens, nobody blames you. They blame who? The president. So it is not your information. Stop treating it as if I'm the communication director, so for that reason, this information must be passed by me. Who told you that? You pass information that they ask you to pass, not the one that you have decided to pass, because you're not working for yourself, you're working for them. Until we have that synergy whereby they trust you so much to do anything, they can ask you, don't worry, you can handle this, go and do it. You do it. It's a simple thing.
Okay, nice speaker.
Good morning, all. Thank you, ma'am, for such a nice lectures. God bless you. I'm proud of Clifford University, and I'm proud of you too. Scenario you painted was very good. In Seventh Adventist Church, we have ordained channels of receiving, treating, investigating, and disseminating informations. And every trained pastor and pioneers in Seventh Adventist Church make good use of these tools and have a smooth running church that can escape such a shameful sin. in a brightful Sabbath morning. And I know that we pastors, we keep using those tools. My question to storytelling is this. You said we should not give every information in the opening paragraph. And some other tutors that will come up here will say, don't keep your readers or your listeners in suspense. Please, help me. Yes, people say that don't keep your readers and whatever in suspense. Just make sure you give them what they need to do in few words. So, is there any precise number of words we should use for storytelling and paragraphs? Thank you.
Remember, when I said you should tell your story, I also said you should make sure that your stories are short, that they do not get your audience or readers bored while they are reading it. And again, when you are writing your stories, we have come, if you notice in most content, even on YouTube, Facebook, and other platforms, social media platforms, and people are struggling to read which one. You understand? And people are afraid, which one should I, people are struggling, which one should I read, which one shouldn't I read? And it depends on how interesting your content is or your story is. That is what draws your attention of your audience to your story. When you are writing to your audience, if you are writing straight news, because when we have come to understand the kind of audience that we have, they are impatient. And again, when you are writing straight, when you give them all the information, we have noticed that, like if you listen to my earlier speech, we have noticed that they don't even read our stories to the end. But we want them to read to the end. So why writing to the end if you are giving them all the information at the beginning of the story? Why write to the end? So because you want them to read the story to the end, you hold them. You try to engage them. Keep them to read your story to the end of it. By adding a little suspense that will make it interacting, and interesting. That when they are reading your story, they will be able to hold on to it to the end of it. There are different ways you can write. It depends on your audience. You just have to understand who your audience are. If your audience are the type that are settled with story, they have time and settled with reading story, then capture them and engage them with stories that will make them to read to the end. You don't have to, if you give the audience all the information they need at the beginning, they read your news halfway or your information halfway and then leave the remaining content for you that wrote it. Next question, please.
Thank you. First, I want to remind great communicators that in the face of crisis, it's not the time to have the rapport with the pastor. Have a rapport with the pastor, flow with the pastor so that you will understand the pastor, the elder, their kind of persons, so that you don't do their job as okay, rightly put. Now, mine is on reporting crisis, and it creates a greater crisis. How should the communicator handle it? As a damage controller of the church. That's to that you have just told a story, and your story is creating crisis. What should the communicator do?
You know, I said earlier that as a communication secretary, you don't have to communicate anything without working with the pastor, without working with the church board, if possible. Because remember, you are not handling it, you are communicating it. So because you must know how the pastor handled it to help you to effectively communicate it. And again, I said that when you're communicating crisis, you have to be calm. Because you said that the story brought crisis. Yes, because that is what it is. Crisis situation. But then, as a communication secretary, how do you calm it? How do you communicate it to calm the crisis? You don't go and give information at the time it was hot, when everybody is trying to know what is happening and all that, without working with the pastor. The pastor must tell you how he handled the situation, what is really true and what is not true. Remember, if the way you communicate crisis matters a lot. If you do not get the right information before communicating the crisis, you may even raise more. that is why you have to be careful and calm. Do not be in a haste. Hey, this matter is hot. Let me communicate it the way it's hot, as it is, as they hot. No, try to calm down. Understand the crisis. Work with the right offices, the pastor, the first, work with them. And try to know how to communicate it the right way so that the whole situation will calm down without bringing more crisis. Next person, please.
Good morning, all. Just points. Number one is on the issue of the management of the crisis. The Seventh-day Adventist Church is very organized. And we have different policies for different situations. The way a pastor will manage the crisis that somebody sends a message that, please, don't wear these people, is different from the way a message will be sent on don't dedicate this child. They have different policies.
Exactly.
In the case of wedding, you are uniting them, making that relationship legal. But in the case of education, you are not attaching any legitimacy to the child. Please take note. I hope we are following. Because I was in a church where a child was brought for child dedication, and people say, this child was born out of wedlock. Why must the church dedicate? No, there's no church policy like that. The child is an individual. It's a human being. And what we are doing is to hand over that child to God. That child dedication does not establish legally this person must be the side of this person. If you can sort that out after the church, that is okay. So take note, there are two different policies guiding wedding and child dedication. Child dedication does not have any legal implication. If you bring the child, not matter how the child was born, the church will hand over that child to God. That is just on that policy. Then on the, please take note, the communicator or the communication director is not in competition with the church pastor. But both of them must work together. And your work as a communicator, a communicator or the communication director is to communicate what transpires in the church. And who manages what transpires in the church? It is the pastor. You are a reporter. And you report what you have been asked to do what? Reports. If the governor stands here to make a speech, the pressmen will take it and say what the governor has said, isn't it? They will not come and say, Governor, please step down. Let us give the audience this information. It is our job as the press people to come and give them the information. No. That is where we are getting it. Secondly, please take note that if you are having issue of this nature in your mind, it means you are not working with the church pastor in a good standing. Take note of this. Because if you are working with a good pastor, good standing, and you hear anything, you don't even wait for the pastor to come and answer you. Come. That information you have gotten outside. Pastor, look what I'm hearing, you know. Is that okay? Pastor, look at what that rumor you are hearing outside. You are waiting for the pastor to invite you to come and sit you down and give you information. No. If you have a good relationship with the pastor, what do? You walk up to the pastor, look at, because you may not know even if the pastor has heard that thing. Because most often leaders don't hear things on time. It is the members, things will be going around. So it is your duty to walk up to the pastor and say, Pastor, look what I'm hearing. What is going on? And because there is that synergy and that relationship, the pastor will give you all the information. And then you will communicate it because the pastor knows the church policy. And he knows what you will say to implicate the church. He knows what you will say to put the church in a bad light. So he will say, okay, this is how we are going to manage. You have an understanding. And then while the pastor is doing his own part of managing the crisis, you are there giving the needed information to the audience. Don't sit there and say, I'm the communication director. I'm the one that's supposed to tell the people. You are getting it wrong. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My time is up. I'll be signaled. My time is up. Okay, last person. Okay.
Thank you very much. Facts may inform, but stories transform. Great line there. Thank you very much. My question is, from our discussion now, I'm tempted to think the communication secretary or director is more of someone who communicates what the pastor wants My question is he a communication secretary to the church or to the pastor? And to really be clear, if there's an instance where the pastor is the person in conflict, maybe he's one of the parties to the conflict, the communication secretary now or the communication director, does he go to the pastor to ask him, what should I communicate? So is it that the pastor tells him what to write, then he goes on the church platform and writes what the pastor wants him to write? Or does he owe the church the duty of keeping the records straight? How do we manage this thin line so that we are able to create a balance between servitude and service?
Please give the next person, the person
And
behind you.
just to mention this, I've heard a lot about illegitimate child and legal child. Please, no child is illegitimate. No child is illegal. The relationship between two persons may be illegitimate, but it doesn't affect the legitimacy of the child, legally speaking. So every child anywhere has every right to enjoy anything at all, irrespective of the relationship between the parents. That is legally speaking. So that should inform the reason the church goes ahead to dedicate a child, even if the people were not married, because the status of the relationship doesn't affect the child. Speaking as a lawyer, please. Thank you.
The person behind you.
Okay, thank you. All right, the question is just asked if the pastor in question is part of the challenge the church is facing. Now, as a communicator or the commission secretary, it does not stop you from asking the pastor questions. But whatever the pastor tells you is part of your information. But as the secretary, your job is to do what? Receive the information, that's the true situation of what is happening in the church, but you and the resolution. You're not taking conclusion from the pastor. The church is so organized that if I and the pastor have an issue, the church board or the elders sit down to look into it. So it is the outcome of the resolution that is published to the public, not the pastor's own personal feelings. That's what I think.
Exactly, because I also said that you work with the church, not just the church pastor, but the church board. Because whatever you communicate does not affect, it's not just the pastor, the church is involved. So the church board should be involved as well. Thank you very much. Okay. One more question. I can take one.
Good morning, everyone. Please, there is something we are trying to lose sight of. Fine. Every child is a legitimate child, despite the scenario that surrounded the birth. But the individual that gave birth to this child out of wedlock, church should discipline that individual. In our various churches today, in our local churches today, my sister, the church is gradually losing sight of some of our principles and policies. And that's why in some churches today, they keep dedicating children out of wedlock without considering the people that gave birth to them. Dedicate the child, fine, but don't leave the individual that gave birth to the child out of what? Wedlock. It should be considered, please. Thank you very much.
I think my time is up. My time is up. My time is up. Thank you very much.
Let's put our hands together for her. I think that hello. What you just did now was for me. Please, can we put our hands together for the presenter? Thank you very much for spending time with us. If you ask me, I've learned. Let was the we are for this opportunity given to our sister, and it was used properly. May God bless you and enrich you in Jesus' name. Before we go into the next section of our program, I want to inform us. All directors here, with delegates without t-shirt, please, you need to move out so that your delegates will have their t-shirts and get ready for the opening ceremony. If you also locked your room, if you're lodging in the guest house, your room is locked, please, they need your key. They need the key for cleanup. All right, I will invite the song leaders to thrill us with moving choruses as we prepare ourselves for the opening ceremony. Exactly 10:30, we'll kick off the ceremony. 10:30, the opening will begin. Please, we don't need a rowdy movement. We only need those without t-shirts to go wear their t-shirts and come back. But every other person should be seated here. God bless you all in Jesus' name.
This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice, we will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. I will rejoice, we will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Oh, this is the day, this is the day the Lord has made. you fishers of men if you follow me. I will make you fishers of men, fishers of men, fishers. I will make you fishers of men if you follow me. If you follow me, if you follow me, I will make you fishers of men if you follow me.
My Savior, and in my suffering time, in the cross, where I first saw the light, and the point of my life rolled away. It was there by faith I received my sight, and now right back beyond when I first saw the light, and the point of my life rolled away. It was
Hello, my name is Ekpo Temple. We're counting down to the 2025 Epic Communication Ministries and Media Convention.
Join us from October 22nd to 26th at Seventh-day Adventist Church, Eastern Nigeria Union Conference headquarters here in Aba, where we'll learn from experts who lead the media industry across Africa.
Do you desire to tell your story like a pro? Then come, our cinematographer will unveil the secret in mastering imagery, in quality shooting. I believe you don't want to miss it.
You've been on Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, all the social media platforms. Our digital marketing strategists are ready so that you will not just be on Facebook, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, and all the social media, but you will make impact, make money, and grow your reach.
In a crowded world, our brand needs to shout. Our branding specialists will teach you the art of branding and graphic design that cuts across the noise.
You have a story, but don't know how to script it? Don't worry. Come, we have instructors, qualified instructors that will help you achieve your dream.
Silence your nerves, find your voice, master the stage with our public speaking coach, equipping you with the skills to command attention and inspire action.
You will also be certified by renowned institutions. Please come and be part of this year's 2025 Enoc Communication and Media Ministries Convention.